Good morning, everyone. It's Karen Whooley, and welcome to this week's event. I can't even talk this morning. This week's Team Whooleygan live chat. I'm so excited you all are here. It's November 24th, the day before the United States Thanksgiving. So if you're here, I'm really glad that you were able to take some time to chat with me. I don't know that this one's going to be a long one either, unless you guys have some stuff you want to talk about after I get done. But I do have a couple projects to show you and some few things. But before we get started, let me do my opening credits. Just for those of you who are watching for the very first time, whether or not you're watching live or after the fact, you can check out my website at karenwhooley.com. Everything about Karen Whooley Designs is there, from classes, books, patterns. Coming soon is my new pattern club for 2022. So be watching for that. But check out my website. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. My newsletter goes out right now twice a month on the first and third Fridays. And you get newsletter subscribers find out about everything first. They get the links first for new products. Before I announce it to the public, they get discounts that are deeper than anybody else. And there's a whole lot more. So make sure you subscribe while you're there. And if you want a direct link to the subscribe button or to the subscribe form, go ahead and use this this link right here, which is karenwhooley.com/subscribe. And you can go right to the form and subscribe right now. You might want to subscribe quickly because I am doing a post-Thanksgiving sale that starts on Friday. So make sure you are subscribed for that, because there's some really cool deep discounts this time around. So make sure you check it out. If you're not watching this on YouTube, that means you're probably watching it on Rumble or on my blog. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you use the link right below. I have a pretty link that goes directly to my channel. Just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you hit the thumbs up button too. That helps with the algorithms as well and shows my lives and my other videos to a wider audience. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would do that. If you're not watching on YouTube and are watching, or if you're not watching on Rumble, you might want to check out my Rumble channel. Sorry, guys. Rumble is another video streaming platform. Right now, I am not live streaming to it. So after the fact, I upload these videos to Rumble. My Rumble audience is growing, so make sure you check that out. That's a link to my Rumble channel, and I'm going to be working on that as well. So let me go ahead and check the chat room, because I see you guys have already started chatting. There's a few of you here. So good morning, Linda and Daisy May. And yay, the button smashed. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. Stephanie in Texas, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I'm so excited that you're here. Linda says, you love my autumn motif in the thumbnail. Awesome. Well, next month it's going to be changing. So I'm trying to do something cute and different every month so that you guys can see kind of where I'm at and, where each one of those videos is, instead of having just a standard background. At least you can tell it's fall or it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. So that's why I'm changing up the motifs a little bit. Good. Happy Thanksgiving, Teresa. Oh, Utah. Yes. Are you guys getting snow? We are starting in the mountains. We're getting snow. My daughter, who lives 2 hours north of me in Spokane, is getting snow. And I know west of us, they're getting a little bit of snow, and then Yakima Valley a little bit. So yeah, it's getting cold. We're in the 30s today. Or is it? It's 38 degrees right now, according to my temperature thing here in my office. And Renee, good morning. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So like I said at the beginning, it might not be a long one today again. Oops, let me take that banner off here. It may not be a long one again today, unless you guys have some things you want to chat about before Thanksgiving. But I wanted to show you a couple of my projects that I've been working on. You guys all know that I've been making Christmas stockings for my family, and I just finished my son Tyler's. So this is his stocking right here. What I've done with I have my other two here as well. What I've done with all of these is the foot portion of the stockings are all the same. I have Bryce's here too. Um, the body's different on all of them. The colors are different. I mean, Cassie and Bryce, that's my daughter and her husband. I use their school colors from Washington State, white and red, just reverse them and use different stitch patterns. My son went to Montana State, which I'm repping right now. So I'm using the blue and gold that he requested for Montana State. So those are done. So I do have the yarn. I forgot to bring them up to my office with me, but I do have the yarn for my husband's and mine. So today, this afternoon, I'm actually going to have my husband, because he took the day off while we're waiting for our son to arrive. I'm going to have him go through all the stitch patterns, and then I'm going to design his, hopefully, and start it this weekend. So they turned out really cute. I'm really excited with how they're turning out so far. It's been a fun project. I can finish one of these stockings, and don't cringe when I say this, but I can finish them and get them on the blocking board in about 3 evenings or 3 football games, depending on when I'm crocheting them or knitting them. Sorry, these are knit. So they're fast to work up because they're worsted weight, and on a little bit bigger needles than I'm usually using. When I make socks, I use size 1, and these I believe are either a 4 or 6. I can't remember. I know it's an even number. I'm thinking it's a 4. Yeah, it is a 4 because I use the size 4 crochet hook when I do the crocheted top. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun project, and I think I can get the other 2 done before Christmas starts. The day after Thanksgiving, I usually start decorating for Christmas. And so I'll get these 3 up on the mantle, and I'll put my husband's, my old ones, until I get ours done. His will be first, and then I always do myself last. That's the way it is for Mom. Mom always does her stuff last. There's a few more people popped in, so let me check in. Hi, Pat. Happy Thanksgiving. It's good to see you here. I'm glad you popped in. And Dawn, happy Thanksgiving. I'm glad you're here as well. I hope you get the day off today. And Teresa says it's snowing in the mountains, and some of the ski resorts are open. It's 37 here, but snow on the ground here where you live. Oh, okay. Okay, so you do have some snow. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get any before Christmas or not. Last year we didn't get any until February. I think it was early February when we got snow last year. I don't know when we're going to get snow. I've only been here. Well, we've been in the Tri-Cities for over a year. We moved a year ago, June. But we've only been through 1 winter, and it was, and everybody says it's different every year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. A short visit is better than no visit. Happy Thanksgiving, your friends. Yes, I agree. And thank you, Renee, for saying the stockings are beautiful. I'm having a really good time with them. It's helping me get my color work a little bit better. It's interesting, though, is after I took this off the blocking board, my daughter's and my son's stocking is a little longer than my daughter's. My daughter's is the same size as her husband's, and they're exactly the same number of rows. So I must have loosened up and gotten better at my color work and knitting. So we'll see. I'm going to be starting a color work sweater probably right after I finish the last stocking. I might actually work on it sooner. Oh, I should post this up there too. I'm using the Wool of the Andes for these stockings, and here's a link. That is an affiliate link that I have there. That's why, and it's shortened so that it's easy to find. It will be in my show notes after the show is over. So if you want to go and check that out, you can. I want to make sure I put that up there. I like the Wool of the Andes because it's soft. When I block it, it likes to hold its shape. And I like wool stockings. So I just like the feel of them. I don't know if my family's going to like the feel of them, but I like the feel of them. So that's what's important in this case. Anyway, so that's my stockings. I have one other project I want to show you. I showed it to you at the beginning that I was going to do these socks for autumn, and autumn's almost over, but I have not had time because I've been doing other things. But I did finish this weekend. I finished the first sock. And let me put the link up here as well for this. This is the Fiber Seed Sprout sock. It's in a limited edition colorway for my local yarn shop on the west side of the state, Stilly River Yarns. It's a Little Bungalow is the name of the color. The only place you can get it is at Stilly River Yarns, and I did not put her link in my banners here for today, but it's Stilly, STILLY River yarns.com. I think she still has them in her shop. I'm not 100% sure if you like this color, but I did put the Fiber Seeds website there and the Sprout sock. The only thing is that this morning when I was checking their site is down because they're getting ready for Black Friday as well. So you can't use the link right this second, but it will be live probably before Friday, I would think. Just so you guys know that they're down right now. Anyway, I really like the stitch pattern, how it turned out. I modified the pattern. The original pattern did not have the stitch pattern on the top of the foot, and I brought it down all the way to the toe, to where I start the toe. And then also I started a second sock, and because the way the stitch pattern is, I have to move. I'm going to bring this back up. You see how there's like these lines that go through, and those are twisted knit stitches, these lines that go down. And on this one, it starts with a line and it ends with the box on this side. So I'm reversing it for the other ones so that the socks have they're matched set is what I want them to be. So on one side where the line comes through, you can really see it. And on the other side, it's not so noticeable because all you can see here is where I did my decreases for my gusset, and then it goes to straight stockinette. So when I wear these, I'll wear the stripe on either outside of the foot so that they kind of match. So that's the other project I'm working on. Let me see. Oops, let me take the banner down for this. Let's see. Dawn's working today and off tomorrow. I had a feeling because this is probably a busy day for you guys too, since it's right before a holiday. Okay, and then those stockings, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I love how the stockings are turning out. My husband and I decided we're doing blue and grays, but his is going to be a different blue than mine. So, and I might reverse mine. I might do the gray as the main color and blue as the accent for all the pictures. I haven't decided yet for sure, but they're two different blues, so that they're a little bit different. But that's kind of all I have to share as far as projects are concerned. I am going to be winding up the yarn for our crochet along that we're going to have in January. I haven't figured out the exact dates it's going to start yet because I've been super, super busy on my website. I did finish all of the patterns for the Pattern Club, but now I'm trying to get the membership going on the website, and I ran into a bit of a snag, and I actually have the software people who wrote the software for the membership part of it on my site, hopefully right now, working on why it doesn't like Chrome. It likes Chrome on my phone and on my tablet, but it will not on my desktop. And I know a lot of my customer and followers use Chrome on their desktops. So he's checking it out right now, and hopefully I'll get that fixed. But I did want to let you guys know, I've already announced it to my newsletter people, but the registration for the Pattern Club will open on December 6th or 7th. I'm not 100% sure. I am going to open it early for newsletter subscribers. So newsletter subscribers will get notified sooner. So if you're not on the newsletter, now's a good time to subscribe. Not that I'm going to have a limit on how many people can be part of the Pattern Club. I just like to allow my newsletter because they allow me in their inbox, and I appreciate that. And they don't have to let me in their inbox. So I am definitely going to let the newsletter subscribers first, and then I'll let everybody else know. So it'll go live to the public on the 6th or 7th. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it on a Monday or Tuesday. I've been saying the 7th to give me extra time in case anything else happens. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'm writing all the what do you call it? All of the information about how it's all going to work. There's some things that are still in the works that I don't know are going to happen the first and second month, but they will happen in the future. I have some little things that I'm planning to do that I haven't talked about yet, that I'm hoping will come to fruition within, March or April for sure. And so things like that, I'm really excited about it. The price point is at a point where I decided this is how it's going to work, guys, just so you guys know. And I think I've already mentioned it a couple times, but I'm going to open registration, and registration is going to go through January 7th because the first pattern is going to drop the 10th of January, and every second Tuesday of the month. So that would be like January 10th, February 14th. So Valentine's Day, March 14th, April 11th. I've got, that's the day the pattern of that month is going to drop. So I'm doing it that way so that I have enough time for people to register. First of all, I have enough time behind the scenes to get that first thing going so that I know that everything's working properly before I launch the first pattern. The thing I don't want to have happen is that you get on the site, the pattern site, and the forums aren't working, or you can't log in and things like that. And that's, or Chrome, it doesn't work on Chrome, but it works on Mozilla, and it works on Edge, and it works on Safari, but it won't work on Chrome. So I'm trying very hard to make sure at least most of those problems are going to go away. And in the meantime, what's going to happen is, so if you register right off the bat, you're going to go on a special email list. Everybody who subscribes goes on an email list. And once a week or once every other week, as things progress, before we launch that first pattern, I will send a little note of, announcing the new thing. So what I like to do is so when I get the forums open, I'll send you an email saying, hey, you can go now to the forums and introduce yourself and meet other people and get, start chatting and things like that. Or if I find that there's going to be, a way to download the patterns differently, because originally I was going to have you use my normal shopping cart, but that doesn't work properly with my it will, but it won't allow me to do the things that I need to do to shut down just the pattern club for just those people. So you're still going to be purchasing on my website, still the same credit card processor, which is Stripe. It's just going to be not going through my shopping carts. It's going to be going through my membership software, and it's still secure and all of that stuff. It's just now you won't be able to get Whooleygan points for your membership, which actually is probably a good thing going forward. Because I'm hoping that in the future, you'll be able to use your Whooleygan points to renew your registration. But for this first time around, since I don't want to mess with a bunch of things trying to talk to each other. So we're doing that for right now. But once I drop the first pattern, what'll happen is you'll get a code, and you can go to my web shop and download the pattern for free, because the patterns are free with your membership. You're going to get your membership, you're going to get the Zoom calls, you're going to get the office hours, you're going to get a few other little perks as the months progress. And you'll have two options to register. You can buy the full year, or you can buy a monthly registration where it automatically charges you every month. It's up to you your preference is. You do get a month free if you do the full year all at once. And the other little feature is that if when you register, once registration closes on the 7th, you cannot register until next year for the Pattern Club. There might be a change in how that works later in the year because I'm going to be releasing more stuff in the middle of the year. And that might be all inclusive and it might be two separate things. I haven't decided how. I have to see how this works with the Pattern Club because the Pattern Club is a small piece of the big picture. So there is that as well. But everybody who registers between, I'm going to say, the 7th of December through the 7th of January are going to be considered founding members, and there's going to be perks involved with that as well. So, and those perks will be around as long as you renew every year. If you decide to drop a year, you lose your founding member status. So just so that you know that going into this, but I'm really excited. If we can get this one piece put together and fixed so that people who use Chrome don't have an issue, then I might be able to launch it a little earlier than I was hoping. It's just, I just want to make sure that registration goes smoothly because registration's always the hardest part and where people get angry the most because it's dealing with their money. So anyway, so I just want to let you know that's what I'm working on. It's getting there. And then also, if you are a newsletter subscriber, make sure you watch your inbox on Friday because Friday starts my post-Thanksgiving sale. I do this only once a year. And it goes from Friday through Monday, Cyber Monday. Deepest discounts I do all year. Right? I don't do sales very often. I did for Socktober, I did do my sock patterns on sale. And I did, like 20 or 15% or 10%, I don't know. And then when new patterns come out, those patterns go on sale pretty much. But other than that, I really don't do sales. And Socktober, probably I'll do something different next year because I have some ideas for Socktober next year. So this is really the only sale I do on my website, and it's going to be books and patterns only. Since I don't have classes right now, they obviously can't get a sale on a class listed, and I'm not doing sales on the swag that's out there or the gift certificates. Oh, I forgot to mention the other thing with the Pattern Club, and this will be all in the newsletter when I do the announcements and when I announce to the world, but I want to let you guys know is that you can gift a membership. So if there's a crocheter in your life that you think might enjoy having a community to work with, might like my patterns, likes to do shawls and wants to learn some new techniques along the way and have help along the way in a community, you can gift it to them for Christmas or for whatever else there is. But the only way you can gift on this software is a full year's membership. So I could allow you to gift a month, but I don't, because the system only allows you to gift the first month and then they have to re-register, and I'm not allowing re-registrations. So just so you guys know, that's happening. So you can, if you want to give somebody a gift at Christmas, or you have a crocheter in your guild that might like this and you're doing like a Secret Santa type of thing or whatever, you can do that as well. The only key thing that you need to know is that when you register as a gift, they'll immediately get the email saying so-and-so gifted you this this Pattern Club. So just so you guys know. Anyway, let me see what you guys have to say out here. Let's see. Linda says, I use Chrome, but don't like it. It keeps crashing. Mine doesn't crash so much as whenever I'm testing my website, it like gives me fits with my own website. And I've tried it with Brave too, and Brave is doing the same thing because they're basically the same format. They use the same. I don't know if they use the same base core. I don't know what it is, but Brave and Chrome. I haven't tried with Edge to see how it is, but I know Mozilla's Firefox as usually is the one, and the Safari with the Mac iOS or the Mac software. But I also use it on my Windows based computer. That it just seems to work. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that after this call, I'll have an answer for me. Oh, you can hardly wait from Pattern Club. Thanks, Linda. I can't wait either. I'm really excited. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. A lot of fun. And oh, I should mention too that I know the holidays get busy. And so like next year, November and December, it'll be close to the holidays. So I'm going to extend our work with those patterns, until we start the next Pattern Club. So we'll go into January before we ever call it quits with the pattern, with the patterns for this year. So just so you guys know. Teresa's looking forward to the Pattern Club. I'm so excited. I really am. And for those of you, you'll read about this in the newsletter and the announcements, but I know like Pat, and I know there's a couple others out there who prefer to use DK or Sport or worsted for these patterns. I know Pat uses DK and worsted a lot for my crochet alongs when I use fingering. All of these patterns are designed so that you can increase the weight of the yarn that you're using. Just so you guys know, I'm going to be talking about that in the first couple months of the Pattern Club. So there you go. Linda says Mozilla works for me too. Okay, good. Stephanie uses Chrome, but do have Edge and Safari. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that because I'm hoping that we'll fix this problem. And I'm hoping it's something on my end. I'm thinking it might be one of the plugins I have for Chrome that's blocking what it's supposed to do or something. And I've been shutting them off. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing. So hopefully that's not going to do it. Linda says, I got my Chaos Fiber Advent box. Don't know if I can stand waiting for Advent to start. I feel like a little kid. I'm so excited that you got it. I'm really excited. And oh, Stephanie got hers too. And the Forbiddens box should arrive today. Oh, awesome. I can't wait for you guys to see the patterns and tell me what you think. For those of you who don't know, I did 2 boxes this year for Forbidden Fibers. No, I did. I have to think here for a second. Yeah, I did 2 for Forbidden Fibers and 1 for Chaos, the Chaos Advent box. So those patterns are theirs for about a year, and then I release them myself. So if you didn't order a box, and I do believe Chaos still has some boxes. I think she had 2 left last I talked to her. So if you're interested, check out her website. It's chaosfiberco.com, and check out those that kit at least. I know Forbiddens are all sold out. So and she's not offering anymore. So those are just a couple things. So I'm excited that you guys are getting them. Pat says she's oh, good. No longer liking worsted. DK is the heaviest I like to use now. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I really love fingering, but DK is my favorite if I'm going to go up to anything. I mean, these are worsted. And that's fine for knitting, but for crochet, I like this the smaller weights or the lesser weights or whatever you want to call them, the smaller yarns, the thinner yarns. But next, the patterns I'm more thinking about doing for 2023's Pattern Club, I might be doing some of them with a DK and a fingering. I mean, I'm trying to go through my stash, and I do have a stash of DK weight in there too. So I'm thinking I might do 2 samples to show how how the pattern works differently for the different projects. So my goal is for the pattern club, for you to be able to use the weights that you like to use for most of the patterns. I'm not going to say all of the patterns because you never know what I'm going to do in the future, but I know already what I'm doing next year. So um, that's kind of my goal at this point. Cool. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to mention, today I got a request to fill out a survey. I was up early this morning. I know it's only it's only 9:30 here, but I was up a lot earlier than that. And I was going through my inbox, and I was asked to fill out a survey by another artist, fiber artist, who's also, she does other mediums. It's not just fiber, but she does a lot of different art type of things. And it was through an organization that I'm a part of, that she was doing a survey on what it means to me to be a maker and making by hand. So I was filling out the survey, and I thought while I was filling out the survey this morning, I thought it would be kind of a cool thing to ask you guys some of these questions that she had on her survey. And so I was going to ask you guys in the chat, and you don't have to give me long, involved answers. You can just say, so like, for example, what does it mean to you for making with your hands? So crocheting, knitting, spinning, drawing, beading, anything that you can make, sourdough baking, whatever it is that you make handmade. What does it mean to you? I'll give you my answer if I get at least one from one of you guys. It makes you think a little bit too about what it means. Why, I mean, for me, it's what I do for a living, but there's other reasons why I like making with my hands. Okay, so Renee says a sense of accomplishment. That's a good one. That's one of my things too. It feels like, I did this, that kind of thing. Pat says relaxing time crocheting, and I donate most of what I make. So you're relaxing, but you're also doing something for others, giving away or donations or whatever. That's kind of what my answer was. It's kind of, for me, it's a connection to my past and to my I guess to my past and to my it kind of inspires me for my future as well, because my connection to my past is learning to crochet from my nonna, and it brings a lot of memories. Even when I'm designing something today, I always think about my grandmother teaching me how to crochet, and and a lot of times I'll be working on something, and it's like she's whispering in my ear some of the things that she says, don't forget to do this, or don't forget to do that. So it kind of is a comforting thing for me to remember where I came from. And then inspiring my future is more of every time I work on something, I get a million more ideas, whether it's for my design work or for a gift for someone, or like, I do a lot of donations, mostly baby hats, but lately I've been doing some scarves and some prayer shawls and things too. So it kind of inspires me. That's what it means to me, is I'm loving other people, and I'm also loving my past. So that's kind of where I'm at. And Pat is a process crocheter. There's a technical crocheter and a process crocheter, and she enjoys the process. The technical crocheter likes the learning the new things. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't like to learn the new things, but I mean, that's what brings them to crochet. It's not the relaxing, enjoying the process as you're making it. Linda says she puts so much of herself in knitting, crocheting. She feels like she's giving a part of herself. Yes, exactly. Once I only did someone tell me that she gave my gifts to the dogs. Oh man, that's horrible. I mean, it's good for the dogs. I mean, I guess they like that kind of thing. But But no, I agree. I mean, I always there's a lot of me in everything I do, whether it's designing a pattern or making a gift for someone, like these stockings for my kids. As I was knitting this for Tyler, I was thinking about him and praying for him and that kind of thing. So it's your therapy. Yes, I always tell my family that too. This is what keeps me sane. That's absolutely true. You also enjoy the process and enjoy donating blankies to the pet shelters. When you crochet, I feel as though your Aunt Josie is with you. See, and that's how I feel about my Nonna. When I'm crocheting, she's sitting right next to me. Renee, I simply enjoy the act of crocheting. You also macrame. I haven't done macrame in years, but I used to enjoy that too. I learned in grammar school. I guess I was middle school by then. But yeah, in fact, I've seen some videos lately on macrame and on Instagram. They show up, how when you hit the end of your feed and then they have like recommendations of people. And I always seem to get the macrame ones. And I just I sit there and I'm just like, oh, I remember doing this. I'd like to do that again. But I don't need another craft to do right now. So my thing right now, I don't know if you guys saw my blog post on Monday, but I posted a blog post about slowing down and how God has hit me over the head with basically a mallet saying, this cancer diagnosis was, you need to slow down. So everything I do right now is intentional and because I need to stay slowed down. So yeah. So I can't pick up another craft right now. I have one other craft that I want to start working on maybe this between Christmas and New Year's that I haven't picked up in a while. And I'd like to show you, I'd like to teach some classes. It's crochet, but it's a beaded crochet. And I haven't done it in so long and I'm ready to do it again. So I need to do that. See, Renee, also, you want to learn how to knit also. Yes, I'm planning, I'm trying to figure out if I want to do some static knitting videos to teach crocheters how to knit. I don't know that I want to do a full-blown class on knitting, but I'm glad to do some videos on it at this point. Just trying to slowly get crocheters to learn to knit, because I think knowing both techniques, I guess, for lack of a better word right now, helps you. I mean, knowing how to knit has helped me crochet, and knowing how to crochet has definitely helped me knit with knitting. So I think it's important to be bi-stitchable, as they say. Let's see. I see Linda says, I tell people I'm working on my mental health and they don't want to be around me unless I've had a good sized portion of my mental health. I like that. That's, yeah. Bead crochet, count me in. Awesome. Also cross stitch. I like to see the designs come to life either with a hook and string or blank cloth and colored threads. Yeah. I used to do a lot of embroidery when I was younger. Before when I got married. My grandmother taught me crochet she taught me embroidery first and then needlepoint and then crochet. Crochet is the one that I absolutely fell in love with off the bat, but I do, and I kind of learned to cross stitch on my own over the years, and I've done some cross stitch projects, but crochet has kind of like taken over my life, obviously. So, yeah, but cross stitch is very relaxing. And I loved needlepoint. My mom, in fact, in her sewing room, she still has some of my needlepoint pictures hanging up on her walls. So I'm very excited that she absolutely loved my work. And those are the only pieces I have that I did when I was, in grammar school. I do have some Christmas ornaments that I did in my adult years, but and I do have my very, very first embroider project. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys. I have it. I think it's in my closet. I'll have to look for it and I'll have to bring it out one of these days. It was one of the stamped embroidery where they have the picture stamped on there, and then you learn how to do like the the stem stitch and the daisy stitch and the French knots and the satin stitch. And you do, as you learn each stitch, you complete a certain part of the picture. This was back in the 70s, guys. So that used to be a big thing. Let's see. Teresa started with crocheting. Then my second mom taught me how to knit when I was 30. Then 3 years ago, my boyfriend bought me my first spinning wheel. I taught myself to spin. Well, I had someone that kind of got me started and let me borrow her loaner wheel. Just kind of started me on drafting because that was my hard part. But everything else with spinning, I'm self-taught too. Yeah, I started crocheting at 7. I learned to knit at 37. It took me 30 years to figure it out. But it was because someone had to teach me continental knitting. And then spinning. I love spinning because I can think about everything else and not have to worry about counting. I just have to make sure I'm drafting evenly. And I love spinning. I haven't been able to do enough of it. I have a project sitting over there right now that's half done. And so I need to get back to that too. I mean, that's why I'm really glad I got all the patterns that I had deadlines for through the end of this year are done so that I can get the other projects that are personal to me done. All my crafts seem to help me connect with family history. Yes, and that's kind of where it is for me too. I have a cousin who basically told me I live in the past because I want that connection with my family. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. I mean, it's not that I'm living in the past, because I'm taking what my nonna taught me and bringing it to the future. It's not like I'm taking the patterns that she gave me in size 10 thread and continue to make those in size 10 thread and try to teach everybody to use size 10 thread with a size 6 steel. I mean, that's just not what I do. She's got a problem with me wanting to always be connected to my grandmother or always wanting to be connected to my mom or my family. And she thinks that's just the weirdest thing. And for me, I mean, that's what family is all about. So is continental knitting easier for crocheters? It was for me. Most crocheters, that's how they learn first, because I crocheted first. So I'm right-handed. So my yarn is always in my right hand or in my left hand, and my hook's in my right hand. With continental knitting, even though I've got the needle in my left hand, my yarn is still in my left hand. So when they taught me how to continental knit and I didn't have to throw and wrap, I understood the construction of the knitting. And then shortly thereafter, I mean, the first project I made once she showed me how to knit and purl continental was a sweater for my husband. I mean, I did a scarf and then I jumped right into a sweater for my husband. Finished it, no problem. And then shortly thereafter, I started doing color work where I had color in each hand and I could learn how to throw so that I could do the color work. Now I'm trying to find, there's a Norwegian ring that you can wear on one hand that you can have up to 3 different colors. And if I could get that so I don't have to throw, I'd probably do my color work a lot faster too. But it is. I think it is. And I think it's the best. Well, if you're going to learn to knit on 2 needles right off the bat, I would say learn continental. If you want to ease into it, I would say try nooking first so you understand the construction of the stitches. Because nooking is knitting with a crochet hook. That's something I do teach. And I find that some of my crocheters, and when I was working for my local yarn shop way back, I would teach them nooking first, and then we would go into continental knitting. And it eased their path because they understood why the yarn wraps the way it wraps, and they could read their stitches better. So that's another thing you might want to look into if you're looking into learning how to knit before I get any sort of classes online. Trying to finish up a prayer shawl for my friend who might not be here at Christmas. I'm about halfway through. Oh, prayer shawls. I hope you get it done. I'm glad you're halfway through though. That's a good point to be. So hopefully you'll get it to her. Renee Bryant. Yes. Yeah. For continental, I'm glad Linda piped in on that too, because yeah, most crocheters do find continental is much better. English or American style knitting is hard on the hands. But yeah, it is definitely easier. Because especially if you've been crocheting for a lot of years, like for me, it was 30 years between learning to knit and crochet. And I'm so stuck with having that yarn in my left hand that throwing was so uncomfortable. I could not. My grandmother tried to teach me at 7, and she wouldn't teach me until she wouldn't teach me the purl stitch until I could do a 4-inch square of knitting without dropping a stitch. And, at 7 years old, that's not going to happen. It doesn't matter what size needles and yarn you're using. That's not going to happen at 7. So and then my mother-in-law tried to teach me. I tried to take a couple classes. I tried to teach myself from books. Nothing worked until I found a shop that knew what continental was and how that would help me as a crocheter. If you do ribbing with American style, you'll be worn out. Yeah. Yep. I agree with that 100%. And yes, absolutely welcome. That's what these chats are for. I want you guys to get involved in teaching, talking to each other about these things too. So yeah. And like I said, I want to do some video on continental knitting for crocheters. I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. So, I've got other videos I need to do first, but I do want to do that as well. That's something that I would like to do. So Stephanie said, I learned knitting first and still hold American way. Yep. And if that's more comfortable for you, that's great. For me, it's not. I mean, I find myself switching to throwing rather than, they call when you've got the yarn in your right hand and go around like this, that's throwing. And when you are working continental, they call that picking, because you're using the needle instead of the yarn to do the work for the most part. I'm so much faster continental. I'll be honest. I'm so much faster continental. When I was working at the yarn shop, I did have to learn to knit throwing so that I could help customers who were throwers. But being slow on that and teaching someone else actually worked to my benefit on that. So because people could see what I was talking about, because I was doing it slowly. I wasn't talking and just going zip, 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 zip. So, but because, I'm using pretty much the same motions that I do with my right hand as I do in crochet, that's why continental works for me. And because I'm so used to having my yarn there on my left hand. But I do find myself switching with certain types of maneuvers with your needles. Sometimes you need to move the yarn to the other hand so you can do what you need to do. So anything else, guys? Anything else you want to chat about? Gosh, we got about 10, 12 minutes left. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions. Stephanie said, I've tried continental and now it slows me down. I'll keep practicing though. Yeah. It's nice. I tell my beginning crocheters this too. It's nice to learn, 2 different ways of doing things. So like knife hold versus pencil hold with your crochet hook, because that helps with your wrist motions as well. And it can prevent carpal tunnel syndrome, or when you get tired and you need to keep going because you have a deadline, or, somebody's birthday and you're trying to do the last 3 rows before you go to the birthday party. You can switch back and forth, and it prevents the repetitive injury, from, carpal tunnel, those kinds of things. And the same thing with learning to knit continental and learning to throw. It allows you to, well, first of all, it helps with color work a lot, knitting. And then it also allows you to have a little bit of rest, so like when you're knitting and then you throw, you're taking your hand off the needle for the most part. Some people can do it without having to take the needle off. I can't. I have to take my hand off. But it gives my wrists a rest when I do that. So that's why I'll switch back and forth. Linda says, I used to teach beginning knitting and crocheting at Joann's. One lady got angry at me because I was showing everyone how to cast on, and she said she wanted to knit, not cast on. It's so funny how people who don't know and what they're doing, and they think, boy, I'm going to just learn to knit, but they don't realize there's things you have to learn. You have to learn the chain. You have to learn how to make a chain, how to make a slip knot. In knitting, you have to learn to cast on before you can actually do a knit stitch. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. That's so funny. Okay, so anybody else have anything you want to chat about before we go? Today I do have to get off on time because I have a doctor's appointment for my asthma at 11:30 my time. So, and that's going to be about an hour and a half after I usually end these calls. So I do need to be off on time. But if anybody else has anything, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? My son is, like I said, is coming in today. I don't even know if he's left yet. It's a 5-hour drive from where he is to our house. He's coming in today. And then tomorrow we're going to my niece and nephew's house just across town for Thanksgiving dinner. She's doing it all. She told me all she wants from me is an hors d'oeuvre. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do there. And then Friday night is my daughter is going to be with her in-laws tomorrow, but she has to work Friday. Her husband's off, but she has to work Friday. So when she gets off work, they're going to drive down here Friday night, and then they're going to spend the weekend with us. And I think Saturday evening or afternoon, my son's driving back because he's got to teach school on Monday and he wants a day at home. So, but that's kind of, now that I'm an empty nester, my kids have their own lives, they're not going to be here for the full holidays anymore. But that's what we're doing. So hopefully you guys are having a great, going to have a great Thanksgiving too. I'm really excited to be at my niece and nephew's this year. Just want to wish everybody a blessed and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Linda. Let's see. Stephanie says you're driving to Houston. Oh, good. You'll be with your stepson and family. That's awesome. Colleen, hello. Thanksgiving meal from Cracker Barrel. That's what my husband and I thought too. If my kids didn't come out this year, we'd go out to eat. I'm glad you're here, Colleen. It's good to see you. Oh, on Cracker Barrel. We did that one year when my kids were in college, that neither of them could come home. It was both because of, with my son being in Montana, it was ridiculous for us to fly him home for Thanksgiving and then back, for 3 or 4 days. And then 2 weeks later, he comes home for the break between semesters. That was ridiculous. So he always stayed for Thanksgiving. But I think it was my daughter's first year. They had the Apple Cup, which is the Washington State University versus University of Washington football game. And she was in marching band. And she had to stay because it's the day after Thanksgiving. So my husband took me out for dinner. We had Thanksgiving dinner on the lake in Everett. So that was kind of cool. So I'm glad you guys were able to make it. I'm going to do my closing remarks while we're here, and then I'll come back and check in the chat room. But you guys let me know what's going on if you have anything else you want to say. So I'm not going to hang up or end the live quite yet. For those of you who've watched all the way through, thank you very much. If you jumped in the middle of the live stream, I wanted to give you some information. First of all, make sure you check out my website at KarenWhooley.com. That's the link right here at the bottom of the screen. Everything there is to know about Karen Whooley Designs is there. You can subscribe to my newsletter, which I highly recommend because you get deep discounts on new pattern releases. You are the first to know about new books, new patterns, new classes, new events, all that kind of stuff. I always treat my newsletter subscribers the best because you guys don't have to give me your email address, and you do because you want to hear about the things I want to go on, and I appreciate that. So you will always be the ones who get the biggest discounts out of everybody for most of my things. Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, and if you want a direct link to the newsletter, this is the link right here, KarenWhooley.com/subscribe. So make sure you do that. If you're not watching on YouTube, that means you're watching on either Rumble or on my website. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is a special link purpose that directly goes to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe and always hit the thumbs up as well if you can. Helps me with the algorithms on YouTube and be seen by more crocheters out there. And if you don't know what Rumble is or you're watching somewhere else, this is my Rumble channel. You can use that link there. Rumble is another video streaming platform. Cannot right now live stream 2 of them. Hopefully in the new year I will. But Rumble is growing. My audience on Rumble is growing. So you might want to check out Rumble and see what else I have to offer there as well. So this will be live on Rumble later today. So make sure you check that out. And then if you, I think I forgot to say this at the beginning of all of this, is you can also follow me on Instagram where I'm usually the most active. I haven't been the last few weeks, but I am planning to be a little more active starting after Thanksgiving. And at Karen Whooley, no spaces in my name. So make sure you check that out as well. Okay, guys, I'm going to head back to the chat room and see if anybody else has got anything to say. Doesn't look like you guys have been chatting while I did that. So I guess I will sign off right now. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you for always being here. You guys, I'm so grateful at being Thanksgiving, especially. I should say this more often, but I am so grateful to every one of you who always pops in and says hello and comes and watches these lives, or sends me a note on either my contact form or reply to a newsletter. You guys, my customers and my followers, are the best part of being a crochet designer and teacher and an instructor and all that stuff. If it wasn't for you, I would not be doing this. And I do this because I want to keep the craft going, but I also do this for all of you. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. And I appreciate all the prayers and stuff with all the stuff I've been going through this year. But I want you to know that you guys are the best part of Karen Whooley Designs. So thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. And if there's anyone here watching now or later who is not in the United States, I'm still going to wish you a happy Thanksgiving because I appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day tomorrow for those of you in the US who are celebrating. And I will see you next week. Hopefully, if you're, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter if you're not, because my post-Thanksgiving sale starts on Friday. So you should be getting a newsletter Pacific time, midnight Pacific time on Friday morning, announcing the sale with all the information to get you started. And you'll have a couple newsletters through the weekend. I won't be doing one on Sunday at all. But Saturday and Monday, you'll get a newsletter from me about the sales and stuff. So have a super, super weekend. Thank you, Colleen. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Happy Thanksgiving, Renee. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody who's here. And I will see you next week. Bye, y'all.